Greetings, gardeners. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Kamishra's Sacred Garden, a place where prayer, plants, and ritual meet. Thank you, and I welcome you into the garden so we all can experience healing from the skin in. So, this episode, I am going to talk about fear, how it relates to me and my journey, and how it relates to some of the episodes and things that I've talked about in past episodes. Fear. What are some of the common causes of it? Where it may stem from? And what we can do to overcome it. Welcome back to another episode. And I'm going to begin this episode the way I begin all of my episodes, first by giving thanks to my ancestors. To the ancestors whose blood runs through my veins, I thank you. To the ancestors that stand to the left and the right of me, I thank you. To the ancestors that come when I call, to those who walk with me daily, I thank you. To the ancestors of my mother's mothers and my mother's fathers, my father's mothers and my father's fathers, to those I can call by name, to those who know me better than I know myself, to all of those ancestors who are assigned to assist me in helping me to complete the goal that I came into this life to complete in this lifetime. I thank you. I thank you because without you, I wouldn't be here. I thank you because without you, I wouldn't be standing how I am standing, and I assure you, I am standing strong. I am standing tall, and I am standing deeply rooted. So to all of my ancestors, I thank you. So I want to start off talking about fear and where some of the fears that we experience as humans come from. Sometimes it may stem from evolutionary or biology, the fight or flight response, to help keep us safe from physical or psychological danger. It could be something that we conditioned to or learned to adapt to based on our upbringing, our social standings in life, and the things that we were conditioned to fear, whether it be talking in public, the fear of being judged or put in a certain box or group that is unfavorable, the fear of being looked at and within a certain light, that fear that we have when you stand out, but we don't want to. We just want to kind of blend in with the crowd. All of those social conditioned fears that we might experience. There are fears that may be associated with past traumas, negative experiences. Being bitten by a dog may create a conditioned response to where seeing a dog will trigger a fear that's considered to be beyond the common fears of a dog because you were once bitten. We could have fears that are learned through our rearing. If, as a child, you watched a lot of scary movies, it was one of the things that they always said when we were children: don't let the children watch the scary movies because you condition them to be fearful of things that are not really necessary to be feared of, like the dark or what's looming in the closet when the lights are out, or what may be under the bed. Those are like things that you might see in a children's cartoon, a scary children's cartoon, or a children's show. There are a lot of different things that can trigger fear. It could be even genetics. Some kind of predisposition to heightened anxiety or specific phobias that can be passed down through families. Fear of heights, fear of spiders, phobias, fear of snakes. Fears can come from a lot of things. I think that the most common fears that I've known about. Oh, I hope you're not hearing the dogs that are barking in the background. I'm working out of my space, but there are dogs that can be heard in this space. I try to work really late at night, so everyone's asleep, but I'm hearing dogs barking, so I hope you're not hearing it. But I digress. Let's get back to fear. So one of the things that I realized that I've experienced in my personal life was a lot of the fears that most people have were fears of being judged or put in a certain category. Fears that are associated with standing out in a way that you don't want to stand out. Maybe you were born with a certain gift or a certain talent for something that was not common amongst children, so it made you seem strange or different. Or maybe you had likes that were, not necessarily likes that most children have. Maybe you were into biology at a young age where everyone else wanted to play outside. You wanted to be inside studying your rocks or bugs or something. But most of the fears that I've noticed that kind of can be a little bit inhibiting were all surrounded around social fears. That's my experience. Now, I know fears can come from a lot of different places, but my experience had a lot to do with some of the social fears that people experience from just feeling of embarrassment because you're different, or you stand out, or you're being judged, you're being characterized within a certain light that you don't want to be characterized in. You kind of just want to fit in. And why is it important? Well, because fears can lead to opportunities missed or opportunities delayed. There was once a time, I can remember a time when I believe I might have been in maybe first grade or younger. It might have been first grade, because that's when I remember attending school with my mother. My mother worked in a daycare. It was called New Movement. And I remember being there. And I'm remembering this one trip where we went to a playground. It was a big not a water park, but they had it seemed really big, but I was young. So it might not have been big as I think, but it seemed to be really big. It was like a water play area within a park. And I love water. And I can remember, for whatever reason, standing there while everybody else was in and out of the water having fun. And I stood there. And I refused to get in the water. I refused to play. And I just remember feeling this fear of, I'm not really sure what it was, but I can just remember standing there and being afraid to just let go and have fun. Just imagine a child being afraid to have fun. That's like all you do as a child. is have fun. You learn, but you learn through fun. That's like one of the major aspects of being a child. It's having fun. I stood right at it was like a sprinkler. It was like a big sprinkler that came out from the center and it went out to to all sides. And I remember just standing there looking at the water, wanting to get in, wanting to enjoy myself. And I stood there the whole time. And I did nothing. It was fear. And thinking back on that situation, I can't even remember why I was so fearful. What did I think? Did I think that I was going to look strange playing? Was I afraid of the clothing that I had on? I don't really remember. I just remember standing there in the hot sun, not enjoying myself, wanting to. I can remember some of the teachers saying, "Don't you want to get in?" Or something to that extent. I don't remember any of the classmates or any children encouraging me. Some of the teachers like saying something. And I just stood there and said no. As if I didn't want to get in, but I did. I remember thinking I wish someone pushed harder to encourage me to get in the water because I really did want to play. And the whole time I stood on the side and I missed that opportunity to just have fun in the water on that very hot summer day with the rest of my classmates, with the rest of the children. That was one memory that I had as a child. And I think about, where did that fear come from? What was I even really, truly afraid of? I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer for that. I could say I was always a bit of a shy child. So it might have had to do with how I would look. Because I was always kind of shy. Even till this day, I've outgrown most of my shyness. And I've challenged myself out of most of my shyness. But I still have what I would consider to be really big moments of being shy, of not wanting to, how would I say, be seen in a certain light. And why am I talking about this? Because in one of the past episodes, I talked about meeting some of my family. Meeting some of my family, my bloodline family that I didn't know as a child. And this one lady that I met first, she was ending up being like the historian of the family. And we talked a lot. We talked a long time. She told me about how, the different things that she went through to gather all this information. And she talked about the reunion that was coming up. There was a family reunion that was coming up that year. And I wanted to go. I wanted to go. And my intention was to go. But for whatever reason, I wanted to go with my sister. And when I sat back and thought about why I allowed myself to miss out on that opportunity, because I didn't go. Part of it, in my head, I didn't want to go by myself. But this was a journey that I started by myself. I found our family. I wrote the letter to my Aunt Sadie. I am the one who contacted the family and received the information and had the conversations with the people that I found on Ancestry.com. I'm the one who reached out, so it was my journey. to kind of forge ahead. But at some point, I realized, I'm going to be meeting these people, all of these people that I don't know. And I'm going to be there by myself. And this huge fear came over me. And the person that I would always turn to the most, my big sister, not my oldest sister, my big sister. She's the one that looks like me. I call her my twin, 2 years apart, because we're 2 years apart. But we look a lot alike. People think we're twins. It's amazing how many people will come up to me that I meet, and they'll mistake me for her, or see her somewhere and mistake her for me. It happens to such a extent where I actually had someone hug me. It was a family member of her husband's family member that had came to her house where she lives. And she came upstairs and she saw me and she gave me this big hug. And I was saying in my head, who is this lady? She thinks I'm my sister. So I just hugged her back. And then here comes my sister up the stairs. And she turns around, she sees her. And then her face goes from happy to seeing who she thought she was hugging to seeing my sister. And it's like, wait, she's looking back and forth. And she's like, wait. And I was like, yes, I know you thought I was my sister, but yeah, I just figured I'd just hug you anyway because you were just hugging me. And we all had a laugh because it was hilarious. She thought I was my sister. So we look a lot alike. So I digress. So getting back to the reunion, I wanted to go, but I didn't want to be the only one there. I didn't want to be by myself. And that's how I felt, even though this was my family. But I felt like I would be there by myself. I so wanted my sister to go. But the enthusiasm that I had, my sister didn't have. The passion that was inside of me wasn't inside of my sister. So at that time, she didn't see it as important as I did, for whatever reasons. And the way I viewed that is it wasn't her journey. It was mine. And I was like at a crossroads. Are you going to overcome this challenge? Or are you going to let the challenge overcome you? And I have to say, I didn't overcome that challenge that day. And as a result, I didn't go to that family reunion. I remember talking to the lady who told me about the reunion, who had sent me all of the paperwork, who I had been talking to on the phone. And I remember her saying, I have some rooms available. I think she was really disappointed. I don't really know, because I never spoke to her about it specifically. But I did speak to her about it, about not going after the reunion date had come and gone. And I remember her telling me that she had paid for some rooms, and she didn't tell me this ahead of time, but she told me this afterwards. She had paid for some rooms and she had rooms available. So I believe she had rooms available for me and whomever I might bring with me, to make sure that we had a place, that it wasn't a burden for us. And I missed out on that opportunity because of fear. I didn't admit that to her. And I'm being very vulnerable right now because I never really admitted that to anyone. But fear, oh man, fear it is something that is worth overcoming. It is something that is worth working very hard through. It will stop you in your tracks from achieving goals, from making connections, from just being. It'll stop you from allowing yourself to just be who you are authentically. I can't say I've overcome all of my fears. That fear of jumping out into something all by myself, alone. And sometimes I could say I absolutely have overcome it. It comes and goes. Some people have a hard time going out on their own by themselves, like going to the movies or going out to dinner. That's something that I don't fear. I can do things on my own. But the meeting of brand new people, for whatever reason, at that point in time in my life, even though they were family, brought such a large wave of fear over me that I couldn't overcome at that time. So I missed that opportunity. There was an elder whose number she gave me, and she called and we spoke on the phone. It was kind of funny. It was real funny. So she called me, and she still had a southern accent. My people from Alabama. So she called and she said, "You folk in?" And I paused. And I said, "Excuse me?" And then she said, "You folk in?" I was like, whoa, what is this lady saying? And I'm like, I'm sorry, could you say that one more time? She said, "You folk in?" And then I had to pause, and I stopped and I thought. And I was like, what is she saying? What is she saying? I know she's not saying what it sounds like. She can't be saying that because it sounds like an older lady. And why would some older lady be calling me, asking me this? So I sat there and I thought for a minute, and I was like, oh, yes, I am. I'm Ford's kin. Man, I did not know what she was saying. It sounded like she was saying something else. Oh, I had a chuckle in my head. So we talked, and I spoke to this elder on the phone. And she probably was at that reunion. Possibly, I don't know. But we spoke on the phone, and she actually lived in Brooklyn. And once again, the opportunity to meet, I was okay with talking. I was okay with connecting. I was full forge ahead with finding my family. And then when I found them, it was just this wall of fear. And I just ran into this brick wall. I was like, wait a minute. I don't know these people. How am I going to relate to them? What am I going to say? What if they don't like me? What if I don't know all the things that went in my head, but the wall came up and I crashed right into it. And my forward movement with meeting my family, not just talking with them, not just knowing that they existed, not just corresponding via email or via letter, but actual physical meeting with them. I crashed right into that big brick wall and it stopped. That forward movement stopped. And it stopped for about 10 years. I could beat myself up over it because I have two choices. There's always two choices that you have. That's all you really have is two choices. I could have overcome my fear and went, or I could allow my fear to overcome me and not go. And that's what I did. I allowed my fear to overcome me and I didn't go. And I crashed into that wall. It was a 10-year wall before I think I really started to reach out again. I think me and the woman that I spoke to first, who gave me all the history, the young lady. We spoke several more times on the phone afterwards. And then it's like the conversation kind of dissipated. And then time went on. Another year passed. Another reunion passed. And it just made it harder and harder. Because I didn't face it that very first time. The second time was even harder. And the third time was even harder. And then the fourth time was actually easy. But it wasn't easy in the way that you would think. It was easy to just dismiss it. It's too late for that now. 5 years. 6 year. Year 7. Year 8. Year 9. 10 years. COVID. Forced stay homes. I reached out to her recently, again expressing my desire to attend a family reunion. She sounded a little bit more reserved. It's my perception, I know, because I never asked. So I don't really know. She mentioned that we hadn't had any because of COVID, and I don't know if they've gotten back together and started since then. But I did reach out, and it usually happens around this time of the year. So if it did happen this year, I might have missed it. But there's always next year. And as I was saying before, I could sit back and I can beat myself up. I can beat myself up. I can make myself feel horrible and bad and say I just missed out on the opportunity. I could do that. Or I could take it for what it is. Life is a journey. And we come to this life to have experiences. To experience the challenges that we're experiencing in life. Because those challenges are the challenges that will help grow us. Those challenges are the challenges that will help build the character that we need to take our lives to the next level. And this is part of my challenge, my journey. Do I fold? Or do I give myself grace? Do I forgive myself for being human? Do I get up? And do I just try again? Reach out yet again. Let this young lady that I connected with know that all of this time has passed, but I'm still interested. I do genuinely want to know you in person. And maybe I'll be able to sit down and share the story with her. And maybe she'll understand, maybe she won't. Maybe the need to share this story won't be necessary. I don't know. But I say it's not an opportunity missed. It's an opportunity delayed. Delayed so that I can grow. The me that forged ahead and found them is not the me that I needed to be to actually meet them. There was more growth in me that needed to be had. So I share this because there's a lot of things in life that you, as a listener, a gardener, might have experienced, that you might have feel, I missed out on that. I had an opportunity. Man, I missed out. Why didn't I do this when opportunity arose? And I challenge you to think about that differently. Think about that experience differently. Consider perhaps maybe it wasn't a missed opportunity. Consider perhaps it was a delayed opportunity to give you the opportunity to be a new you, to grow into the you that can take that next step. Because the person that you are today is not the person that you were yesterday. It's not the person that you were a month ago. It's not the person that you were 3 years ago. Even the person who doesn't grow much will definitely change. That change may not be growth. That change may be a devolution instead of an evolution. But change is the inevitable thing. That's the thing that's going to absolutely happen. You will not be the same person that you were previous. Yesterday, you were a different person. You had a whole day's experience over the person you will be tomorrow. And you will have the opportunity to utilize all that you've learned and gained from yesterday to the choices that you make tomorrow. So you're absolutely not the same. You're never the same. But the change that you are isn't always a change in the growth, a higher level of growth. Sometimes we go the other way. But regardless of which way we're going, we still have a choice. Each day gives you another chance and another opportunity to grow, to face those challenges with new life and new vigor, to make a different decision that can have you experience something new, that can bring you new connections, extend your family, broaden your horizons, expand your perspective, or sharpen your perspective. The choice is yours. And right now, the choice is mine. What am I going to do? Well, I can tell you what I'm going to do. I'm absolutely going to continue to reach out and continue to let her know that the interest is there. It was a real desire and a real connection, open connection that was being made. That was delayed because of life. That's just how life is. Life is a journey. And on this journey, we learn so many things. We have that opportunity to learn so many things and to grow in so many different directions. It was just life, just circumstance. And have an opportunity to face that fear differently. So one of the things that I want to start to do, because this podcast is about, I'm going to be talking to other people, but primarily it's about my journey in life, my journey to Kamishwa. How did I get there? These are the things that I experienced. And part of that journey includes my journey to learning more about plants, learning more about herbs. So this was a suggestion from my sister, and I'm taking it on. So fear in the body can affect or maybe can be affected by our nervous system. It's a reaction of the nervous system, or it's related to the nervous system. I'm not a herbalist and I'm not a medical doctor, but there is a relation between nervous system and fear. So I want to introduce you to herbs to help nourish the nervous system. So some of the herbs that can be utilized to help nourish the nervous system would be kava kava. So kava kava is an herb traditionally used in the Pacific Islands. It's highly regarded for helping reduce acute nervousness and tension. It can promote muscle relaxation while helping you to feel at ease as well. And another herb that would be good, passion flower. It's believed to calm the mind and supporting brain's relaxation and pathways. So passion flower is another herb that can use to help, with your fears. Then we have lavender. It's also known for a soothing scent. Lavender helps stabilize your mood, relieve feelings of overwhelm, and is commonly used in aromatherapy or as a tea to promote comfort. We also have ashwagandha. Ashwagandha helps support your body psychological responses to stress and is often used to build emotional balance and fortitude. So these herbs are botanicals that are often used to naturally support your mood and to manage stress, to encourage calm and relaxed state of mind. Okay? So I wanted to mention our herbal friends and different ways that we can utilize our herbal friends to help us as we overcome the challenges that we are experiencing in life. So if you're experiencing overwhelming sense of anxiety, fears, and tensions, we could utilize these herbs in the form of tea, or you can utilize them in the form of a tincture. I would tell you to, go to a local apothecary and speak to your local herbalist, and they will help guide you towards how to prepare the teas and which ones they may have. They may have a blend that they put together, or they may not. They may just have tinctures, or they may just have the singular herbs, but they can help you, guide you towards the herb that will be best for you. Also, if you're experiencing any kind of health issues, always, consult your physician before taking any type of herbal supplement so that you work along with your doctors and, to incorporate supplements into your life. So just wanted to include a little of my herbal knowledge, just a little bit into there. Yeah. So my journey continues, and I will definitely be keeping you guys updated when I attend my first reunion. But yeah, work on overcoming your fears. Work on facing the challenges that you are facing in life. And when you feel like those challenges have gotten you beat, don't beat yourself up. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. You're human. And this is all a learning process. And then just try again. Every new day is a new opportunity for you to get it right, for you to make a better choice, for you to do the thing that you were afraid to do yesterday. Okay? I thank you for listening. I thank you for joining me on this journey. And I will see you I won't see you, but we will gather on the next episode. Y'all take care of yourself now, okay? Bye-bye.